Greetings and welcome to It's All Subjective. It is 1:11 a.m. here in nighttime Los Angeles. Well, they did it. No one would have believed that Spongebob would be canceled, but here we are. They've done it. Not even Spongebob survived. So this is where we've come to. They took down our favorite yellow sponge. And the reason is shockingly funny. Let's go straight into it. This is more of a rant than a conversation, but feel free to leave a comment. If you want to input anything, I will be happy to read them out loud. Okay. So, why did they cancel the sponge? Let's open the article. Oh, this is the Captain Underpants one. We're not even there yet. Here we go. Episode removal. Oh, wait. There we go. They're removed from Paramount Plus for a potentially inappropriate storyline. What's with the ads? Potentially inappropriate storyline. So what exactly happened here? One of them was actually one of my favorite episodes, which was the one about the Panty Raid. Apparently, that's wrong? I don't really get it. Okay, it's literally, spoiler alert for a 20-year-old episode, it's Mr. Krabs' mother's house. So he technically raids his own mother's house. That's funny. Even as a kid, that was funny. Even when I was a kid, nobody did that. Like, the concept of that type of raid didn't exist. So I'm going through Twitter and I'm reading comments about like, oh, well, it's an outdated concept. No, it was always outdated. No one did that. Even when I was born in 98. When I watched that episode, I was like, man, that must be an old world concept, but I thought it was funny. So they removed it, and they also, not kid appropriate. Why? I mean, is that really like where we're at, where that's considered not kid appropriate? I've seen modern day cartoons. There is way worse stuff in there. And that's okay, because I guess what it really means is it isn't promoting a left-wing agenda, so it doesn't really matter. It's not funny, or it's not kid appropriate. There are shows out there that, in my opinion, are far more not kid appropriate, and they're targeted to kids, like, a lot. On Cartoon Network and on Nickelodeon. This was strange too, so some people think this. So apparently SpongeBob is considered this, which I don't think is something that's ever actually shown in an episode, which is weird. And then they also removed one about a pandemic. Like, what? What's that gonna do exactly? Is it gonna is that gonna traumatize kids? It doesn't really add up to me, folks. It really doesn't. This whole SpongeBob thing really doesn't make sense. So we're really at the point now where what is with all the advertisements on these news pages? That's terrifying. Okay, let's find one that doesn't have all the ads. I think this one's okay. Oh, there's all the pop-ups. We need ad blocker on. Sorry about that. Okay. Anyways. So that's one thing. The other thing is this one. This one is today or yesterday. Captain Underpants spin-off pulled for passive racism. You must be wondering, what exactly does that mean? Passive racism? Huh, okay. Well, it says the book follows about a pair of friends who travel from 500,001 BC to 2222, whatever, where they meet a martial arts instructor who teaches them kung fu, and they learn the principles found in Chinese philosophy. That's it. That's it. No, really, that's it. It says that is the only reason why they are going to take it out of circulation. So they go meet a martial arts instructor who is going to teach them kung fu. And that is a racial stereotype and wrong and harmful to my Asian readers. This is a little confusing to me because you would think that like, how else would they depict martial arts exactly? I don't particularly understand that. So would they rather it be a white person teaching them kung fu? Would they rather it be a Middle Eastern man teaching them how to do kung fu? Like, if you're gonna do a kung fu storyline, you would want the culture that actually started it, right? That's not a harmful stereotype. It's very strange. The whole thing is strange. It really harkens back to the whole cancel culture doesn't make sense. Yes, people didn't actively seek these things out, but somebody had to notice. Why? Oh, wait a second. Look at this. The decision came after a Korean American father of 2 young children asking for an apology? Why? What? Was it really that bad that you had to stop what you were doing and ask for an apology from the publisher and writer? I can tell you right now, there are way more damaging stereotypes against Asian Americans out there than this. You're really going to go after Captain Underpants because the two characters go and learn kung fu and what was it, Chinese philosophy. Really? That's all it took? I don't want to sound like Joe Biden when I say this, but come on, man. Really? Captain Underpants and Spongebob. The Spongebob one to me makes even less sense than the Captain Underpants one, where it's like, it was this, the Panty Raid episode. We're literally going to look at the image. This scene was harmful. Get out of here. It's not like they went to some, like, it was literally his mother's dresser that they raided. I remember as a kid, that was the funniest thing I've ever seen. Yeah, he's going through a midlife crisis. They try to cheer him up. It doesn't work. And the last thing they do is this. And as a plot resolution, if I remember correctly, he actually, at the end of the day, felt like he was young again. So it all worked out. That was the resolution. That's apparently wrong. Like, my dad loved SpongeBob, and he thought this was one of the funniest episodes he'd seen as well. It was always a show that had a little bit of humor in there for adults, because the odds were there'd be adults watching with their kids. And whatever the kids didn't get, the adults would get. That's old SpongeBob. So the creator of SpongeBob has passed away, and this is what they're doing now. They're picking apart episodes, taking things out, removing, literally erasing animation history, because they're removing it from all the streaming services. And if I remember right, in the article that I read earlier, the sister episode to this, which was like, when I say sister episode, what I mean is they both air together in the same 30-minute time slot. Because they were attached to each other, that episode got taken out by default, so people can't watch that one either. It has nothing to do with anything. I mean, they're saying it was out since 2018, but even regardless, it's like, undoubtedly this is a perfect reason to consider the episode problematic for today's audience. Like, who wrote this? Why do you decide that, Jacob? What makes you the one who gets to tell people what is and isn't an undoubtedly perfect reason to consider the episode problematic? The Panty Raid? Let me tell you something, Jacob. You have no idea what today's audience is even out there talking about, that you really think that the Panty Raid is problematic. Just go talk to a few people in that age group and see how exactly they talk about certain subjects, and you'll realize this is probably nothing in comparison to what's out there in the world of the internet. Even in my time in high school, this was just not, it meant nothing. It literally, the amount of inappropriateness of this in a SpongeBob episode, it wasn't just worthless in comparison to what people in school talked about. I would dare say that it's negative in its value. It doesn't just mean nothing, it means below nothing. Absolute zero. It means nothing. That's how low on the chart it is. And in terms of the other one, the quarantine one, it's apparently sensitive. Do you have that little faith in the youth anymore? That little faith that you have to make everything cushioned. Everything has to have a pillow underneath it because God forbid someone gets upset. And same with this. One person out of the entire population on Earth, one person got this spin-off pulled from the library shelves. One person. So what I'm starting to understand is, who really runs the world? Is it the people who are in charge? Or is it people individually whose actions, basically nobodies? That's the thing. Absolute nobodies who you would never know in your life, who you probably would never even think of in your life. But that one person decided that they were going to be upset. That one person sent a message. That one person out of the entire population, who was Korean, by the way, so that one person in the entire Korean population was the deciding factor in whether this should exist or not. Really? Who made him the judge, jury, and executioner? You got offended. Oh no, I'm gonna cry tears for you. Really? You had to get the guy to apologize for that? How do you feel now, buddy? You feel really good? I'm sure you saved the world by getting this removed. You're such a hero to society. Come on, get out of here. It's so mind-boggling that people think they have to do this. They went to go see an instructor who teaches them Kung Fu, and they learn the principles found in Chinese philosophy. Oh my god! Sue them! Get that off the shelves! So, could I be offended about literally anything? Send one message to somebody saying how upset I am and have it removed? Because if that's the case, might as well just start doing some chaos here and there, right? That seems to be what they're implying. Literally anybody, no matter who you are, no matter how little of an amount of a community you represent, you have the power to just unexist something. You as an individual have that power. I encourage people to try that out for themselves and see how far they can get. Genuinely curious. Tell me what your results are. Find something, be offended about it, send a message and see what happens. I really want to know, is it that easy to cancel something these days? That you don't even, you're just one guy. And your one voice is that strong that an entire company will do that. No idea. Used to not be that way. At least back then, you'd need some amount of like support, backing, members of certain groups like organizations who have a reason behind why they think something needs to be removed. I'm not saying that they're wrong or they're right. I'm just saying that to me the whole concept is dumb. This is really what they're going for. It's mind-bogglingly dumb. It's a kid's thing. And you're an adult being offended by a kid's thing. Your kid probably wouldn't even know that it's something they should be offended by. Grow up. Seriously. This is what we're at. It's officially Tuesday, March 30th, 2021. Grow the heck up. Getting Captain Underpants pulled for passive racism. Getting Spongebob removed for the Panty Raid because it's inappropriate. What's next? That's my question. Really. Someone feel free to tell me. Make your prediction. What do you think is next? Because at this point, nothing is safe. Nothing can be enjoyed anymore. The odds are whatever it is you enjoy probably will not be enjoyed by one human being on the planet, and that one human being will make sure nobody else will ever enjoy that thing again. That's where we're at. If somebody else is enjoying something that's harmless, you're enjoying something that's harmless, somebody else can make their own thought that it is harmful to them, to only them and to nobody else, and they will make sure that no one else will ever get enjoyment out of that thing again. That's where we're at, folks. You don't have to agree. You can probably find a reason to call me any of the list of words that are used to cancel people at this point. The whole channel really hangs on that thread all the time, so frankly, it doesn't bother me, because I'm willing to talk about things that not everybody else wants to, because of the fear. I've been there. I don't really have any intimidation from those people. The cancel crowd have never intimidated me, and they never will. I think they're funny. I pity them in a way. It's partially laughable, but that's where we're at, where they are taking that power from companies And then they're really the ones that say the companies are in charge, that corporations are in charge. No, they're literally the ones dictating what the corporations can and can't do, what they can't and can't post. So, you know, if you don't like it, don't watch it. Don't watch it if you don't like it. You don't have to make everybody else not watch it. You don't have to make everybody else involved in your personal feelings toward a show. But then again, maybe it's for the attention. That's what it's always for anyways these days. They just want attention. So this is what happens. They get their attention. We're talking about it, aren't we? Means that they got the attention they wanted, going around canceling stuff for absolutely no reason. Find a decent cause to support and go for that. This isn't a decent cause. Nobody would have cared if you didn't say anything. Oh, that's great. We had a slight malfunction in OBS. I don't know why, but I think we're back. What was the reason? There were two things here. One of them was Captain Underpants, and the other one was Spongebob. Which one would you like to know? Because both of the reasons are dumb. I'll explain. I'll just show them to you. So the Spongebob one was for this, the Panty Raid. They were removed for the Panty Raid episode. The Captain Underpants one was removed for quote-unquote passive racism, which was... So they went to meet a martial arts instructor who teaches them Kung Fu, and they learn the principles found in Chinese philosophy. I'm reading this directly off AP News, by the way. So that's the reason here, and this is the reason here. So that's it. Like, that's all it takes. I don't really see why the Panty Raid episode is offensive to youth. Youth these days is on a whole different level of existence with the inappropriateness stuff, with their phones and their access to basically everything. So, like, congratulations to them, I guess. They killed SpongeBob. That's the way I see it, really. They couldn't leave a piece of animation history alone, so they had to remove it from existence. It's frankly extremely moronic. This is more of a rant. Like, it's not a normal, it's all subjective episode. It's just something that needed to be clowned on. Yeah, the Panty Raid was one of my favorite episodes too. But they're not even letting you see it anymore. They don't want you to be able to view it. Why? It was still available digitally, and now they've taken it away completely. So they're basically like pushing it under the rug. Because I guess they think that'll make it like go away. It's not gonna go away. This is the internet. Everything exists and it always will exist. So deal with it. That's what I'll say to Nickelodeon, or Paramount Plus, or whoever. Deal with it. You can try to hide it as much as you want, but the reality is it will always stay there on the internet. And now it just makes the episodes even more popular because they're considered taboo or hard to find. Okay, we're gonna try to get someone on here to talk. Stand by. I think I should be able to do that through Discord. Standing by. Hello, can you read me?
I can read you.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing very well.
You are on It's All Subjective live.
Yeah.
So they killed SpongeBob, man.
They killed the 2 episodes, or just didn't go to the whole show?
No, they killed these 2 episodes, but to me that's killing it because that's classic SpongeBob here.
I feel like wait, did that news just come out recently?
It's been about 2 days.
Oh, okay, so 2 days.
The Captain Underpants one was today. Yesterday
Really?
now, but
That was season 1, right? If I remember correctly, right?
I can look that up. SpongeBob, which
Yeah,
is
so it's
still
very
basically it's early
Very
SpongeBob.
Very early. I remember that. I don't remember the Captain Underpants one though. I'm trying to remember.
It says it's a spin-off.
Really?
But it was a book, like a spin-off book, but it doesn't make sense to me. They took it off for they went to meet a martial arts instructor who teaches them kung fu. That's
Right.
racist toward the Asian community, which I don't really understand, because
Wait, that's the reason?
yeah,
that's
that's according to AP News, that's the reason.
Oh, okay, that is stupid.
And it says it was a Korean American father of 2 young children, who asked for an apology. I don't really understand why he was upset.
That's just over-analysis. That's way beyond.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's attention seeking. They're literally just seeking attention.
Okay, I understand looking at it, but don't look at it that deep.
It's a cartoon or book or whatever, man.
It's a surface thing.
It's like, if you don't like it, don't read it. No one's forcing
Yeah.
you to read it. If you don't want to read it because you think it sucks, just put it back on the shelf and leave. Walk away. Go find something else that's better for your kids. I mean, I don't see how that would bother anyone.
I just don't. I think they did that too. I think if you look it up, I think they did that to Peter Pan as well.
Peter Pan.
Peter Pan, yeah. Like they put like a thing. They put like a warning, I believe.
What was
for,
the
like, Native American
reason?
cultures.
New race now warns
Because apparently
viewers of
they-
racist stereotypes in older
They said
films.
something towards racist towards Native Americans, if I remember correctly.
Let me
You
see if I
look it up,
can put this up on
Yeah.
OBS. There we go. Here it is. So, oh god. Okay. So Peter Pan, Dumbo, and the Jungle Book. These stereotypes were wrong then and are wrong now. But see, they didn't remove it. They just they put a label on, which is still dumb to me, but they left it there. They didn't try to change it, right? So that's the difference. Like with SpongeBob, they actually removed the episode permanently. So you can't watch that along with the rest of them on the streaming services. Yeah, they put a warning.
They put a warning.
Exaggerated stereotypical traits such as slanted eyes and buck teeth. And I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it's Peter Pan. Jeez. At least they didn't like cover it up with like redone animation or remove the scene out completely. Fine. Put the warning, like literally, I don't care. They put the warning, fine. But it still exists. It's still history. It's part of animation culture. Like, to remove a SpongeBob episode. Oh, yeah, I think Speedy Gonzales, like, is supposedly a racial stereotype, and some people don't like it. Even though there are people from that community that like him. So it's like whose voice really matters. Which one do you listen to? The ones that say, no, we kind of like him. He's like an icon for our culture. Some other people will say, we don't like him and we think he's a bad icon for our culture. Who do they listen to?
Yeah.
Or did you see the what was it, the rabbit, Lola Bunny or whatever, in that Space Jam 2? They changed their animation model because the original one was too like female feature heavy.
Yeah.
and people were like, really? Like, you see, I don't.
Space Jam 2.
Yeah, and it's like, I kind of find it funny. Yeah, it's kind of funny to me because it's like, if you made a character look that way and people find that. Oh, a man Ryan. No, it's not that there's no more SpongeBob. It's that they removed the Panty Raid episode from Paramount Plus and basically pretend like it doesn't exist because it's offensive to literally nobody. Oh, did I have a connection issue here? Can you hear me now?
Yep.
There. Discord has some weird thing where it does that sometimes, so.
No worries. I got most of it though, but yeah, like they did that. They did that. I'm trying to remember what was the other one they did.
Well, to me, they screwed up the Mandalorian. It's not animation, but I think they screwed that, where they took Gina Carano. And you know, there was a U.S. senator, I believe, and she said something horrible about her. And I think she should sue her, to be honest. A former U.S. senator was on Bill Maher's show.
Oh, and was it a 1945 tweet or something like that?
Former U.S. senator from North Dakota, Heidi Heitkamp. Oh, I remember her. She... I hope they have the quote. Do they not want to write the thing out? I guess I can play it.
Hold on.
I like this picture. Who was
Is
the
it
Alright,
Heidi
we're playing. Yeah.
Mandalorian? What did she do? She liked something?
She was a Nazi.
Oh, she called her a Nazi.
Right, I'm thinking of somebody else. Well, she's not a Nazi.
Yeah. Okay.
She's a white. She's involved in white supremacy.
And she's involved in white supremacy. Like, really? She's involved in white supremacy? What did she do?
Yeah.
How could she be a Nazi? Did you see what the original thing that got her fired was? She literally was saying, like, the reason why Jewish people in the Holocaust were so easy to, like, dehumanize was because the first thing they did was made their neighbors hate them. So how does that make someone a Nazi exactly? That's just a statement of truth. That is what happened in World War II. They made your neighbors hate you first, so that when they took you to the concentration camps, no one was going to say anything. How could you call someone a Nazi for saying that?
Well, the only thing that I know because I remember learning about it in psychology was like they talked a lot about Hitler and that the idea that he built like the stereotype like of the Aryan race, right? You have to have blonde hair, blue eyes, and then if you don't fit in that, you're excommunicated pretty much.
Right.
But yeah.
So exactly, and that was like the propaganda. If you didn't look like that, then you were, not to them. Not I'm gonna say that 3 times. To them, you were not like worth living on.
Right. And that's
so
genocide.
Which we know quite a bit about.
Yeah.
On that subject, but
right.
Ryan says, how long before they start burning books? Yeah, well, that almost I would pull up the image of the book burning again, but last time I did that, YouTube was trying to get the video not monetized. I had to counter that. And they actually were like, okay, never mind. It was for educational purposes, so it was acceptable. Matthew Campbell, cancel all cancel culture if you are not going to cancel Lil Nas X. I've heard about that one.
Oh,
I saw something about like Satan shoes, and it had human it was shoes with human blood, and I was just like, I don't even want to read about that.
Okay, I can give you the context of it.
Feel free.
Like quick context. Well, I guess like Nike's now suing it. I think Nike's now suing him, or not suing him. They're suing the company that made the shoe, because it's like they used the Air Max shoe.
So it was a Nike shoe, but it wasn't like made by Nike?
They didn't design it. Which
Okay.
I was like, yeah, because I was like, dude, there's no way Nike would go towards that route and design a shoe with like, it has a Bible verse on it,
Okay.
and it's $1,000, by the way. It has a pentagram, and then it has like a Bible verse on the side, and then yeah, there's like that whole thing of like human blood and stuff like that.
It's a modified
drop.
Nike Air Max, decorated with
Yeah.
a pentagram pennant and a reference. It's sold out.
Yeah, I know. People bought it for like
What?
It was like easily like 1,000, I believe.
MSCHF, a company known for creating controversial and viral products.
Yeah. Nike sued them.
Ew. So it's got a drop of human blood inside of it, and they sold it for $1,018. It was 666 pairs. Oh, the devil stuff.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was all
And then the
Satanists
videos.
that bought it.
Honestly.
Probably not. It's all collectors or something.
even
Oh
I
my
was like,
god.
Yeah, no, Nike wouldn't design that because I was like thinking about it. I was like, there's no way Nike would go down that route. If that is, that's bold. But that's like completely like stands against
Well,
everything like they're for.
Here's the thing. It's got their logo on it, which really kind of gets them in trouble because of that.
Right. Exactly. It's their shoe. It's literally their shoe.
So what does this Lil Nas guy have to... I don't even know who that is, but...
With cancel culture?
No,
Well,
with like why is he involved? Is it his like design?
I have no idea if it's his design, but he basically had a video for a song. It's called Montero, I believe. But yeah, like he had a video for a song, and in the video he's like, I guess he's depicting like the Bible, and it talks about like the snake coming down. It's like weird. It's like weird. It's really well edited, to be fair. I should say that, but it's like kind of trippy. It's really weird, and it's like he's going from heaven to hell, and like I think, how do I describe this?
Falls into hell and gives the devil a lap dance.
Yep, that's how that's the best way to describe it.
I'm not
It's-
gonna say something about
Yeah,
modern
don't-
music, but
Yeah, don't watch the video.
I'm just going to imply something. Why do you? Why? That's all I'm gonna say. Why?
I know a bunch
Why?
of church people are like genuinely like confused.
I'm genuinely
like-
confused.
It's random, just out of nowhere. But yeah. But yeah, I would say like that. As far as like cancel culture with that, I know they're trying to get him canceled because of that. Like a bunch of church people, a bunch of like church because they're like, it's like, hey, you're depicting it like wrong in a way, and they're just. But it's also like, if you want to think of it from his perspective, right? He's.
Matthew Campbell says, "Looks like Walmart shoes with some demonic features."
Okay, to be fair with the Air Max thing, yeah, like the normal Air Maxes are like, I've never tried them, so like that's the thing. But like, they're basically like casual shoes, if you want to think of it like that. They're just like something you would wear out at night out. They're very casual. But
Really?
yeah, I guess that's the best way to describe them.
They're not quite my they're not quite my style.
Exactly. Because I know you wear suits and like you wear a lot of like suit.
the
shoes.
button shirts, yeah, they look like they more look like sports shoes, which
Yeah,
I mean,
it's more sporty. I guess that's the way.
I own one single pair of Nike shoes, and the only reason why I have them is because somebody gave me a gift card for like $50 for a Nike. Like it was just a Nike store gift card, so I was like, okay, I guess I have to get a pair of Nikes.
Right.
And they're comfortable. Don't get me wrong. They're like my
comfy shoes.
they're like my walk down the street type of shoes, but
Right. If
I,
you're on a night out, you want to go impress some. I won't say impress some people, but if you're on a night out, you just need something to wear that's comfortable. You wear that.
yeah, even though usually end up overdressing, so you know that a little
You
too
know-
well.
Yeah, exactly. I know that way too well. And being friends with you for such a long time. But yeah, no, I would say with that, I guess with cancel culture, I know Twitter is like the worst place now for it.
Twitter is a
because-
hellscape. No pun intended. I know there's Satan jokes somewhere here.
I left Twitter. Funny enough, I left Twitter because I actually like. I think you might know this. I left Twitter because I got in beef with somebody, and then I was like, after I got in, like, just literally just tweeting at this guy for an argument for hours.
I don't even. I don't
that-
remember that.
It was a while ago. You don't remember it. It was something personal. But yeah, like basically, literally after that, it was just like arguing about. I think it was sports related too, and just something like stupid. And then after that day, I left, and I never went back. And I'm kind of glad I never went back after that. It was just a mess.
Twitter
and I,
is unhealthy. I'm saying that as somebody who uses it, and I warn people not to. It's really an unhealthy, toxic space, and
Right.
I've beefed with people. I probably will beef with people again
with
in the
BLM, I
future.
remember that.
Dude,
I remember
I didn't
this-
even
this maybe-
I didn't say a lot of things about BLM back then. I said the things I said was like
No,
this.
but like you would get retaliated. Like,
I
you
would get, yeah, well, I expect retaliation sometimes, but you know, it's like it's not like I said something wrong. All I said was,
Right.
you have
Right.
you have a cause, you can go do the constitutional thing, which is to march down the street and protest a cause, which we've had and will probably continue to have for as long as this country exists. But when you start
Right.
breaking people's stuff, when you start smashing windows, when you start beating up store owners, you're not a cause anymore. And I don't care if it's like you could say, oh, there was just a few people. Well, guess what? Every like violent thing that happens, anyone who was like there and didn't do anything, last time I checked, you're kind of part of the problem.
Yeah.
So, you know, take some responsibility for it. Don't
Yeah.
just like, they were like, oh, they're not part of us. Well, they were walking with you. They had your signs. That
Yeah.
probably means they were.
You know what was also funny too? What was it? Did I ever tell you this? That happened in Pasadena. It was like I got yelled at by BLM people, which was hilarious. And I'm just in a line getting yogurt, and then they were just yelling at people in restaurants. And this was like when it was
In
COVID, when it was
Pasadena?
out. Yeah, in Pasadena.
Wow.
This was like in August. But yeah, like genuinely, I got
They were rude, basically.
Oh no, they yelled at us. They actually threatened to kill people in line, which was hilarious. And then I'm like, "Bet you won't do it."
No
and
way.
The girl had okay, this is the thing, right? This is true story. The girl in the front, there was a bunch of people in cars honking, and then just like one of the girl in the front was a black chick. She had like a megaphone out. And yeah, like she was like yelling at us, yelling at other people in the restaurants nearby.
Oh, jeez.
We were outside because we couldn't get in because of COVID, right? Because you're not allowed to enter
Mhm.
inside spaces. So we were just waiting outside. It was like me, my sister, a bunch of random people that we've never really seen. And then it was like we hear honking, and it was like, okay, it's probably just normal Pasadena traffic or something. Then it starts to get louder, and then we start hearing the megaphone. And then it turned onto our street. It was a stoplight, and it was like not even like 2 feet. Like I'm on the sidewalk, they're like right next to us.
Mm-hmm.
They're yelling at us, they're honking horns. The girl in the front had a megaphone, and she was like threatening to like get out of the car and like kill people. Funny enough.
Seriously?
Yeah, like they threatened us, like very like rude threats too, like very rude. And then
See, that's how they
And
ruin their
funny-
cause.
right, and then it was funny. It was that, and then I'm just like in line. I'm like, dude, I just want to get yogurt, man. I haven't been in this place in 2 months.
See, dude, I just want to get yogurt, man. Ah, you're gonna die. Like, what?
And
What?
then it was funny, right? They said it's like, oh, if you look back at it, we were like ignoring it, right? Because you're just like, oh, we just can't be bothered.
Yeah, which is like,
And then funny,
that's the thing that you have to do, otherwise you don't know what might happen to you.
right? And then it was funny. It's like, oh, it's like if you look at us, we're gonna like come off the car and do something. And I'm like, and then me going up, I'm like, but you probably won't do anything. So I look at her deadpan in the eyes, zooms past the car, and just drives past us and never look back.
Oh.
So I'm like, okay, alright.
You know, it's funny actually. I feel like the people that on Twitter for the last like couple years, the toxic ones, the ones that would usually act that way but online, because they had their opportunity to do an actual in-person thing, that was really the only way they know how to act, is like the same way they act online. I've gotten death threats before for stupid reasons. Stupid reasons. And, like, I'm not scared. It's not something that, like, I fear, like, oh, someone online is gonna, like, find me. Like, go ahead. Seriously, go for it. Like, I don't care. You're the one that's gonna throw your life away for something that petty. Fine.
Right.
You know? I'm not gonna indulge that. I even got... Someone threatened to sue me once, if you could believe it. And only because I literally took their stupid words and put them back on, like, in public, because, like, hey, you said it, here's the consequences of your actions. And it's like, oh, I'm gonna sue you. Seriously? Why'd you say it in the first place, man? Nike and NBA are part of the Chinese Communist Party. That explains the Space Jam Lola bunny and why LeBron bends the knee. Yeah, I know that there was this whole thing with the NBA where, like,
the Xi Jinping, or like when they cancel games in China because of Daryl Morey. So basically, Daryl Morey was, he's the GM of he used to be the GM of the Houston Rockets, and then now he's the GM of the Sixers. But basically, when he was with the Rockets, he tweeted something, basically kind of like basically he said, like, I don't know what the lines of the text were, but so he was basically saying something about China. And then after he put out that tweet, they literally stopped because we could think of it, right? Like, all the NBA teams are in China, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're all like watching, and then they all like, I was like, oh, there's a live stream on, we can watch the stream or something like that. Just watch our favorite players. Canceled. They had a bunch of like billboards out for players. And the thing is with like NBA players in China, like the biggest one I remember was like Kobe Bryant. Like, I remember like him in China. Like I think this was like
Kobe.
before. No, this was like before. No, this was like before like China became what it was now.
Right.
Like it was like a genuine place. Like people, like he had like, it was like very like peaceful. Like nobody would say anything. Now it's like different. You say something against it, it's kind of like, yeah, like they turn on you. Like Daryl Morey, so basically once he tweeted that out, all the games weren't shown on TV anymore.
Wow.
In China, they took out the billboards. They took down the billboards of like not broadcasting, but like they took down the billboards for the games. So they're stuck in China pretty much. And then the GM, or not the GM, the commissioner of the NBA kind of had to like get him out of it. And then they're like, no, it's weird. He basically said yes and no. Like, we stand for our own guys. So then he basically pulled out every single team that was there. I believe it was the Brooklyn Nets and then the Lakers. They were gonna play that night. And then they were like, hey, we're not doing this. He basically wanted to support Morey. But at the same time, got out of the situation.
Here's what bothers me. Why should we, like, American sportsmen and women, why should we have to worry about what China thinks, and why should we, like, it's us, it's the U.S. like citizens' opinions. Our opinions are free, something they don't have over there. So what, like, yeah, clearly, it is literally with evidence. China has re-education camps, and they take, I don't want to say it wrong, but the Uyghurs, I believe, and they do some horrible things to them. And, having come from a background where something like that happened to us, not me, but my ancestors, that shouldn't exist anymore. And so people that praise that country, you're kind of praising that. The same way if somebody was praising Azerbaijan today, you would be praising them for having committed literal atrocities in the last year. It's the same with China. But with countries like that, it's apparently taboo to criticize them. And that's something that LeBron got in trouble for. Where he doesn't really.
Well, basically, they were like he was standing standing up for them, basically, because he was honestly standing up. How do I say this? But like, basically, he kind of got it big on it because he was like, I think because of Nike, because I know Nike, a lot of the shoes are made in China, and yeah, it's kind of like what Apple does with iPhone, but they make people are making those shoes in China.
Yeah, and that
maybe kind of standing up for them. Maybe, and I guess that's the way I can think of it. But for me, I guess this is the way I've kind of looked at it. I've always looked at it on a basketball sense, and then there's the politics.
You look at the sport, which to me is why I don't like politics in sports. Exactly. I think it ruins it.
People go from it to escape from it.
That's the problem with football, like American football. There's a lot of people that got turned off by the NFL because of the way they wanted to make things political and the way the players wanted to make things political. Look, you want to be political, as soon as the game ends, go and make your statement. Don't do it during the game, where that's the one time in all of American history, by the way. As long as football existed, that is where people go, sit down with all of the rest of the people, regardless of what background, regardless of what political opinions. You sit there, you watch the game. Everyone on one team cheers when they score. Everyone on the other team cheers when their team scores. And that's it. You don't think, oh, this person is this way, this person is that way, whatever, because that's not the place for it.
I know that's actually really interesting thing, because I know a lot in psychology, they do a lot of studies on this type of stuff. I know, for example, right, literally, I think the World Cup's happening, right? In 2022, there's going to be a World Cup, and then 2026, there's going to be a World Cup in the United States. The biggest thing with that sport, and the reason why I think you could talk about soccer in general, right? The interesting thing is that they did it in Brazil, I believe. Was it 20? I know they did it in France. Or was it France or Russia? No, they did it in Russia in 2019, I believe. Oh no, 2018. And then 2014 was in Brazil. And the interesting thing is, because the one reason it's like they don't think of it as a team. They think of it as countries uniting, you meeting different cultures,
correct,
meeting different things. And they actually, and the really interesting thing is, whenever they did it in Brazil was the worst economic state ever. Funny enough, as they did that World Cup, crime dropped to about 40%. And in the favelas, it was in certain areas it was bad, but in certain areas a lot of crime dropped. And because they think of it as hey, we're not, regardless of what group we come from, we unite as a community. I know, for example, I think when France won it in 2018, a lot of people were saying, I think that brought up another debate, was they brought up a lot about the immigrant phase, right? Because a lot of France is mostly Muslim, so they have a lot of people from Africa.
there was a lot of immigrant influx in the last few years.
And I remember somebody said it too, on they're all. I think that's the idea. Like that's another controversy too. I don't say controversy. That's the other thing because, like, I know there's like because you obviously if you have two parents born in different countries, I think in soccer the rule is you choose which country you play for and then you represent them. So like, they basically obviously chose France, the latter, and yeah, they represented France. And I know like when they won, a bunch of people were like spamming like, oh, like Team Africa and stuff like that. I'm like, no, that's like the worst way to do it. But funny enough, like as soon as people started spamming that, every single country, even the opposing countries, are like, hey, we don't stand for this. That's the thing. Like, there's so much like unity in that they all kind of unite under one branch. Like they forget about the world. And
Right,
it's like it's
right.
crazy. Like literally when I tell you they
But I
forget
feel
about
like
the world,
it's that's no longer something that we can do in sports. Is like leave it for that small amount of time, and
right.
and enjoy
2
it
months
enjoy it
pretty
for the
much.
moment, then go back to things the way they are, with the exception of like I think holding a game in a country that actually is committing like crimes
Crime.
against humanity.
For
Right.
example, like Qatar.
Yeah. That I understand where
They're
some people
literally
might
have
not want
slaves
to
building the stadiums.
they might not want to participate in those games anymore.
Right.
This is one thing I think is funny is because this started off in animation. I forgot to mention, this is the honorable mention here, which is that China banned Winnie the Pooh because people thought that the cartoon character looked like the president, and I guess that was offensive to him.
Yeah.
I don't know why this has always been something that's been funny to me because it makes no sense. What's this? Matthew says, "Lil Baby burning down a Wendy's at Grammy, while saying turn up the flame some." That's
I
the
heard
restaurant
of
they
Lil
burned
Baby.
down in the music video.
Right. Oh, I think Lil Baby did a song. Wait, which
This
song
summer,
was it?
it's gonna get real hot. Wait for the Floyd decision. I agree. I've been thinking about it a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And there
You
were
know
a
what's
lot
gonna
of
happen if
there
they
were a
say
lot of
that.
issues with the jurors. They kept switching jurors because the ones that were there all were being checked out, and they would have pre-made opinions already, which in court you're not supposed to have. But in this particular case, that's going to be hard because people are going to
I
have
got like 26 million too.
I heard something happened recently.
He got like a ton of money.
George Floyd Square. Have you heard of that? Like they
Oh yeah, like they turned it into like a utopia kind of thing.
Yeah, and
I heard about that.
and
Yeah.
I heard someone died there, but it was like
I
a
don't know about
week
that.
ago
I
or
just-
something.
I heard they like converted that area into like this like little like memorial area.
They blocked it with barricades and makeshift checkpoints.
Really.
Roughly 3 miles. I remember
saw
there
the
was
photo.
like a reporter that went there, and he was outside the barricades and talking about what's in there. And these two lightweights in like oversized hoodies walk over, and they're like, "You're not supposed to, you're not allowed to be here. They're not cops. They're just like protesters or anarchists or whatever you want to call them. They're like, oh, you're not allowed to be here." And he's like, "I thought I could be outside the barricade." And they're like, "No, you gotta. If you don't leave right now, it's not gonna end well for you." Like, they basically threatened his life. And he's a reporter, so it's like, what's going on in there exactly? And yeah, I think apparently some African American guy died in that autonomous zone because there's no like
law.
there's no law. I think he got shot. And it's like sad.
like,
It's like an
Minnesota
ironic thing
crime
where
went
it's
up,
like,
insane.
yeah. Did you? I believe it was L.A.
Was it LA?
Oh no, the other one was. Yeah, I believe it was Minnesota. Here, look at this. LA County Metro increased police funding by 36 million. It was cut by 150 million last summer. They couldn't handle it.
I know, because it got bad.
Because it got bad. So
It got down bad, literally.
We've seen an increase in gun violence and supply of guns. Where we live, I've actually been keeping track of the police, like, reports and arrests and stuff.
Our area?
In our area, and because we have our own police department, and they post it on their Twitter page when there's been an incident. And lately, a lot of people have been arrested for walking around our town with loaded guns in their pockets, and drugs.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I know.
Like
Our
crazy.
area has a huge drug issue, man.
I didn't think that before. I really didn't.
Oh no, big time. There is a big drug issue. Like, we were talking about, like, how do I describe this? Like, do we say our names, or do we say, like, where the thing is? But I know, like, our area, like, the high schools where we went to, you know, the other ones, right? I guess the other high schools.
Yeah.
They had huge drug issues. There was, I think it was Crescenta Valley, and then there was,
Hoover.
Hoover. No, Hoover was. Hoover actually no. Hoover had a lot of sexual assault cases.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, but I don't know. It was La Cañada and Crescenta Valley. Those areas, oh my god, they were so bad with drug issues, big time, man. It was either drug issues.
I feel like where we
suicide,
went,
it was-
we didn't quite have that.
Oh no,
and
we were good.
I think we
compared
got
to the other
lucky.
schools. We got lucky compared to the other schools, man. No, like, I know,
It's a
like,
bunch of white meth heads claiming to be I mean, yeah, there are a lot of white meth heads in those crowds, you could say. I mean, they look at them, man. They look like they don't even know where they are.
dude,
It's
there's,
in
like,
their
there's
eyes.
people injecting. Dude, there's people, like, injecting needles, like, in certain areas. If you go to certain areas, you'll see it.
Well, and again,
That's
here,
sad, man.
for now, because I don't know what the future is. For now, I can walk my streets, for now, without worrying about stepping on a used needle. San Francisco,
Right.
on the other hand, I used to, as a kid, want to visit there because, it's part of our state's, like, beauty. And then I was literally, like, listening to interviews of citizens, business owners, talking about the fact that, like, their sidewalks are covered in needles. And you think, well, where did they get all these needles from, right?
Berkeley, too.
So
Berkeley's
guess
pretty
what?
bad, too.
The city provides them with needles so that they don't, like, I guess, use the same one twice. So their solution to the
COVID
problem, their solution to the drug problem is, look, you're gonna do the drugs, so here's a bunch of clean needles for you to use. Like, is that really the answer? No.
Yeah, no, that's, yeah.
There's like a chart of needles in San Francisco, and there was a chart on, like, human waste, and it was disgusting. I was looking through that. How do they let things go that way? And we live near downtown Los Angeles, and honestly, I don't like going there anymore. I don't. It's or if I do, I have to try not to look around.
Depends on where you go. If you go to USC, you're, like, kind of like, USC's, like, kind of the safe zone. If you go outside of USC, you're
But isn't
you're
USC is a
somewhere.
private school?
University.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is their campus public?
Yes.
Oh, it is.
Oh no, private. No,
Oh,
private.
no, it's private. So
private.
so you can't access the campus unless you are a student there or a faculty member.
Yeah.
See,
Unless you have, like,
yeah. So, but UCLA, on the other hand, is public, and anyone can walk the grounds, and we've done it.
yeah.
So
Anyone, literally. anyone.
anyone can do it. So that's why they're getting
Just pay
they're
parking and
safe.
you're good.
You're safe at USC because, well, as safe as you can be.
Safe as you can be. Exactly.
safe as
But
you can
there's,
be.
there's still stuff. Yeah, there is still stuff that goes on there. But yeah.
But outside the school grounds, there's there's homeless here, there's druggies there. You know, you don't know who's who.
You know, like I think our area, we live, like you said, we live near LA. I think we're like 15 minutes from LA, depending on traffic. But yeah, but like I know a lot of the homeless people. They move them to Eagle Rock. Like I've seen that a lot now because there's so many of them because of like businesses either just tanked or
we've got wait until
they're
the
all in Eagle
stimulus
Rock,
checks
literally.
run out. The left is all about hard handouts or taking what they want. Just like, yeah, as I think once. Well, you know what I think is funny? I go on Twitter and there's a bunch of. I'm gonna use this word even though I don't like it, but this one time I'm gonna use it. I go on Twitter and I see a bunch of privileged morons making tweets about what they bought with their stimmies. And I'm like, really? Oh, you bought a graphics card. Oh, you bought so basically you didn't even need it. It was just free money and you're celebrating the free money. Like maybe there were people who deserved it more in that. Like if that's what you were going to use, it's supposed to be like a lifesaver more than anything else.
Right. I think because it's also a challenge with that too, because if you give it to certain people, they're like, okay, what about us? It's like they're literally just point that argument. It's so easy to like manipulate that argument.
Matthew, if they haven't taken me down yet, I'm gonna keep pushing it until they do. No, it's just because he said don't read what he wrote out loud, which too late, by the way.
Yeah, I think
I think we're still advertiser friendly. Even,
I think
you know what?
Yeah, you get profit from it. That's good.
Yeah, I made $1. That's literally my like. I'm transparent, guys. I'm not like the government. I'm transparent. I've made $2 off this YouTube channel. Thank you for the $2.
Hey, you know what I have to say? Hey, you made $2 more than you did 20 minutes ago, so that's all I go.
You know what? I feel like I earned that $2 more than I earned the stimulus check. I don't know if that's a weird statement. We'll be paying it all back. Nothing is free. Well, yeah, stimulus money is technically people's money. It's just being given back, or it'll be collected later. It's not like the government printed a bunch of dollars out and said, "Oh yeah, here you go." It's not your money. No, it's our money.
You know what? I've seen most people do this though. I've literally seen most of it. As soon as that money comes in, they literally transfer it to the bank like immediately. Like I've seen that happen, and there's like, I think I've seen people get like 600, or I think it's the 600 or 500, and they literally just transferred it like right away. Like, and then it's like 0, and they're just waiting for the 1400 to come in. But yeah, I've seen a lot of people spend it like immediately.
I wish there was an autonomous zone from the United States. Texas. You know, Texas. I used to think that, man, Ryan, but I'm starting to get worried for dear old Texas because I was watching them during the election cycle, and their numbers were not Ted Cruz, I think, barely won his Senate race against that guy, and then also the Trump-Biden election numbers in Texas were way closer than I would expect them to be. Here, 51%, 47, something like that. Even though the map itself was like mostly red, but it was the little pockets that were blue were city, and so the population there is the population in the cities is bigger. This is something that, it weirds me out, and I don't know if you could see the screen, but like this much of a state can go red with their precincts, but then like this small amount can push the entire state over to the other side.
Right. Because like those counties have like more electors or something.
Yeah, they have more people.
More people.
Yeah,
they do by district.
That's why So, I don't know, Texas. The problem with Texas is people from here, California, and some of the other, like New York, they're moving there because
Right.
guess what?
No sales tax. and everything.
Yeah, they don't have that type of tax, and land is cheaper, properties are cheaper, and I think the air is cleaner because there isn't a bunch of smog-filled cities all over the place.
I
And
know they're having border issues now.
having what?
Border issues now.
Border issues with who?
Mexico and stuff.
Oh, because of the migrants?
The migrants. Yeah.
Speaking of which, I saw something. It was migrants wearing, I think it was Biden gear. And I was
I
like,
don't know about that.
here,
I've seen the
look at
photos.
this. More than 100,000 migrants encountered at the border in February. Look at this. This is a PR shot. I want to know who supplied all these people with Biden shirts. It's a custom T-shirt. Biden, please let us in. And they brought them all here, and they made them go on their knees, like to beg to.
Yeah.
And it's like this is clearly set up. It's PR. It's supposed to make you feel bad. It's supposed to make, I guess,
Right.
even though I'm sure he knows about it, it's supposed to make him feel bad. Which,
Right.
let's be honest, it's something that he would have probably known anyways. So, this angers me.
About that.
It's not even the fact that they're there. It's the fact that somebody gave him all this. They gave them all this gear. They gave them
They gave
Biden
them merch,
swag.
literally.
Yeah, they gave them merch. It's like, if anything, instead of making, T-shirts for these people, give them something that's like useful. If you're really gonna put that money into it, you're gonna give them Biden T-shirts. Really? It's gross to me. This whole thing, like the fact that someone's doing this, grosses me out because they're using these people for an agenda. They don't care about them. Whoever gave them these shirts does not care about them. They just care about pushing their agenda. And these people suffer from that.
I think because also it's like literally like I was like, dude, there's literally a virus out. I don't think we should be letting people in because I think that's the last thing you want to do is let people. I'm not saying that as like I don't know.
Well, I know it's a sensitive thing, and
Right.
and saying
very sensitive.
even that could be grounds for you to be canceled.
Right.
I will of course be the one to do it. I'm kidding. Anyway, and it's like, well, but no, it is a safety concern. Are they gonna, if they test these people, what if one of them tests with COVID? What do you do? Where do you take them? Do you say no,
Right.
get out, or
I
do you
know
say,
they
oh, we're
talk-
gonna put you in the facility and wait until you get better?
And then like the scary part too is like I think Cruz did it too. Like I think you saw the video, right, where he
Ted?
went down there. Yeah, Ted Cruz. Yeah.
Um.
You saw the video? Like he put out a video, and it's like literally they're all packed in. Like
Oh yeah. Well, so they asked, what's this? Hey, I know you can get away with saying that word on this channel without. Have you? What? Hey, I know how you can get away with saying that word on this channel without getting in trouble. Have you guys ever seen the movie Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs? Yeah. Fraudens Flanner? What? Hold on,
Yeah,
I'm confused. Do you know what he's talking about?
I have no idea. I'm sorry, but I have no idea what you.
I think this is part of a punchline. I was just saying,
I was thinking Mr. Flanders for a second, but then I was like, that's something completely different.
there was
Flanders Simpsons.
there was this White House press secretary or something. They were like, oh, why
They just
can't
ignore it.
why can't people in the press go to those facilities and see what's going on down there?
They don't let them in. They said
And
it's dirty or something like that.
and they were like, oh, COVID restrictions would prevent the one reporter and the one camera person from going in there, but we will provide you with our own government-made footage, so that you can air that. And it's like, well, no, why would we let the government give us footage of their facilities? You know it's not going to be truthful. You think they're going to film the crappy parts and give those to the press? No. Yeah. If the press was honest and they went there and they saw that crappy stuff, they would record it and then expose them. But the government's like, yeah, you can't go to our facilities, but we'll take photos and video and send it to you. No, that's gross. It's clearly, they're clearly saying that because there's something going on down there. The funny thing is they were trashing on Trump for that, and as soon as they got in, they didn't change anything. So it was all BS. Speaking of merch, did you get your Supreme? Funny. Did we get our Supreme clothes yet? Unfortunately, Sebastian's card was denied because
you got Supreme.
No, he put I think it was like Harvey Weinstein's name on the order. It was just a joke. Anyway, it was one of our videos. I don't know if you saw that one. We went through the Supreme website and we're just looking at the clothes, and like honestly, I don't really get how people wear some of that stuff because it was really ugly. Especially some of the hoodies.
There's like lines out the door for it, man.
Yeah, I know, that's the thing. There's lines out the door, but it's gross. Like, it's not fashionable to me. But I mean, maybe if you're like a skater guy or something, and you want to look all
that's Hot Topic.
Baggy.
Hot Topic.
Hot Topic.
Bro, that's literally like if you're like edge, like I don't say how do I say this, but like if you're, it's literally
it's like wannabe gothic. That's what Hot Topic is. It's wannabe gothic, like edgy.
Or if you just really like anime, you want to try to like find something.
They have like pop culture stuff there.
Yeah, it's like pop culture, and then like those are.
U.S. nearly 100,000 illegals. Yeah, it's. I think the numbers have been going up since Trump got out. What a surprise.
Detained? Oh, like they got out?
Well, they tried to get in, I guess. So they're being... So, I guess the open the borders crowd isn't crying right now because it's not Trump doing that. If it was Trump doing that, they'd cry. But since it's Biden, they can't say anything because it would be embarrassing for them if they...
I think that's probably, and you can kind of see the reason why. Because it's so one-sided. It's insane.
It's completely one-sided. It's gross. I don't, if you're gonna, like, for example,
which is why people don't get into politics.
When I talk about the American intervention in Syria, it was something that Obama did. It was something that I didn't, regardless of the administration. I think that trying to overthrow a government, which would only cause like more bloodshed and a lot more death, it's like you're basically meddling with forces you shouldn't be meddling with, and you're playing with people's lives. And I didn't like it when Obama did it. I think Trump handled it well because he really didn't do anything like aggressive. He made statements, sure, and he did an airstrike which was done in a way that didn't even claim any lives because it was a warning strike. Fine. Then you've got Biden coming in, and he's part of the Obama administration, and that was something they never were able to finish. Was their Syria, intervention. And the way he talks sometimes, it feels like he really wants to get back into it, and that really angers me. And I don't care if Trump did something like that, I would have been upset equally. He didn't, so I wasn't. In fact, he canceled the CIA program that was made to basically arm terrorists. Or they don't call them that; they call them rebels. They would arm them and send them to fight the government forces. Why should we be doing that? You know how much money that wastes? Go to downtown, man. Go to any downtown. Downtown New York, downtown LA, downtown Chicago, Detroit. God, do we even want to talk about that? There's potholes, there's cracks in the road, there's traffic because of the way it was
bumpy.
the freeways are bumpy. There's traffic all the time because the way the freeways were built would have been able to handle the amount of people that are on those roads now. LAX sucks. It sucks. It is one of the worst airports I have ever been in my life. In terms of design, I think the design sucks. I'm talking about the inside, there was a time where we landed at LAX and we were stuck in the plane for 45 minutes because the way the runway was built, there was plane traffic.
Yeah.
Go to Dubai and see how their airport is.
Oh, it's like different. Really.
It's oil money. But we're also, the United States of America, the literal beacon of freedom and hope in the world, or so we claim. You think the people landing in LA would, be greeted with something better? Man, Ryan. Yeah, I agree. That's a good way to say it. That's all. We'll just do an entire episode where that's like the whole conversation is just in rees.
Yeah.
Follow Mustang Medic on YouTube. He travels to the Capitol. Did you see what happened in the Capitol the other day? The Uber driver?
What happened? What Uber? Oh, is it
the Uber Eats driver? No.
Oh, never.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm sure chat's gonna rage about this one. I literally wanted to throw up when I saw it. It was an immigrant Uber Eats driver. Like a family man, a father. I think it was a father, or at least he had family. And he, living his life like the rest of us, driving around, probably dropping off food to people and all that.
Mm-hmm.
2 teenage girls. One of them was 13. One of them was 15. They tased him in his car to try to carjack him.
Oh.
The man was halfway hanging out the door of the car, fighting them because that car was probably his life, and without that car, he wouldn't make money for his family. And so he fought them. One of them stepped on the gas. The car sped off at fast speeds and then flipped over. By the way, he was hanging from the car. The door was between him and the inside seat. So he was between the door basically, and the door was hitting light posts and slamming against him. And then the car flipped over on the side he was on, and he got ejected from the car. And he was just basically either dying or dead on the floor. Capitol Police saw that. They totally ignored his either barely breathing or dead body, and were busy helping the 2 teenagers out of the car. And they looked at him and literally did not care that they just murdered somebody. And one of them tells the cop, "Oh, I left my phone in the car. Can I go grab it?" That's how much they cared about their situation. She cared about her phone.
Jeez.
She didn't care that she just caused somebody to literally lose their life and die.
Jeez.
And you know why you didn't hear about it? I'm not afraid to say it. The 2 people that committed the crime were not white. If you feel what I mean.
Yeah.
And so because of that, no one talked about it. Because, let me put it this way. If it was a black Uber Eats driver and 2 white teenage guys, you would know.
What was the nationality of the driver?
I don't want to say the wrong one. I'm gonna look it up to make sure. His name was Mohammed Anwar.
So he would be like Arabic.
Pakistani.
Arabic, Pakistani, yeah.
He immigrated in 2014. So he was a Pakistani immigrant. Literally, lived his life here, probably barely getting by as an Uber Eats driver. Yeah. So thank you, man, Ryan. I forgot about. You know what? Now I'm mad because you reminded me of something that pissed me off. The mayor of Washington D.C. literally tweets and then deletes it later. Literally tweeted out saying like, notice to people in the city, make sure that you're responsible and leave your car locked, so that you don't have an accident or something. And it was like, that was the most unsensitive thing you could have ever written when a guy just got killed. Like that was gross.
But it also says a lot about like the power that media has. And then like there's actually
she got ratioed.
I know
Look, here it is. Auto theft is a crime of opportunity. Follow these steps to reduce the risk of your vehicle becoming a target. She tweeted this after the guy died, as if that's supposed to be like it wasn't the fault of the people that carjacked. It was the fault of the driver because he didn't reduce the risk of his vehicle becoming a target. You know what, Mayor? Screw you. That's it. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Feel free to keep going.
Oh, you're good. No, but like I know, like I remember reading a lot in psychology. They talk about this a lot. That's why like I don't like for me like I don't look at news that much anymore because it's such a big thing. Like media is so easily manipulated, and it's so bad to an extent where like the like minor things will not get reported. Some things because they do it on purpose because it's like they want this thing to be frontline because it's more about the clicks, or it's more about they'll say something about Trump, or they'll say something about Biden because it's the president and former and both presidents.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's such a big thing with media manipulation. It's like it is insane because and I think we notice this a lot. Everything right now is so opinionated to an extent, and apparently opinion's more stronger than fact, and I think that's such a thing. And I remember there was a speech that like I think it was Charlie Chaplin, like he gave a speech back in like the 1920s. He basically said in that speech, it's like we think too much and we feel too little.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's the opposite. We feel too much and we think too little. And it's insane because there's so much emotion, and that emotion is fact now, rather than emotion and opinion is fact. And when you portray that, especially among such a like wide fan base, but like such a wide following,
right?
You realize the amount of power you're doing because they believe that's true. So like, and then it's so easy to like because we so conform to that. We conform to the idea of like, the two girls in that case. We all automatically conform to the two younger girls rather than the guy in the car. And I think that there's so much of that. And especially, and also if you have to have even evidence. I know like a lot of cars have dash cams. I don't know if he did in that car, but I assume he did. And if they find the dash cam evidence of that will hopefully give him some peace. But like, I don't know. It's such a big thing with media. That's the reason like I don't really listen to a lot.
Can I ask why a 13 and a 15-year-old girl would A, have stun guns, and B, be compelled to use them to do a carjacking? What?
Oh, that Yeah.
What decisions led them down that path? It's scary. I mean,
Well,
really,
I think you have
they're
to
not
take
even
it
like
with fight or
adults, man.
flight. Okay, I can kind of tell you the reason. Depending on the context of the information. Basically, if they were in a car and they did that hijack, it's more of like a fight or flight thing. It's like
But
you
who's
either do it or you don't.
but why would they be compelled to feel fight or flight? It's this is the choice. You can live your life normally, or you can grab tasers, go find an innocent person, and basically ruin their life. Because this guy died because of these two girls' choice to basically steal his car while he was with the car.
Right.
What women want to be treated equal until it becomes inconvenient. Yeah, I mean, I know a few personal stories that are, you know, similar to that statement. I wouldn't say that like generally, like, but there are people who behave that way, where they want everything equal until it applies to them.
Right.
Then they don't, because not everything equal might be good.
Right.
And I'm being very vague because I don't want to piss somebody off, you know, and have them put words in my mouth. But I know what you mean.
Take it out of context.
My existence is taken out of context. I'm just kidding. You know, one other thing here. We live near LA. I told you that there are people in our city that got arrested for having
Holding
a firearm,
having a
loaded firearms. This one dude was literally in his car on one of the main streets near where we live, and he had a pistol on the seat next to him and two magazines of loaded ammunition. And
Right.
he got arrested, and then they let him go. Could you believe that? They let him go. He's free on the streets. Same with all the drug people they've arrested lately. They let them go. The people who committed car crimes, let out. Anyone who was found with a loaded firearm, they're literally, I'm not saying they're not charged. They're charged with the crime because that's how they were found.
It's like a warning.
And then the district attorney, I can't even talk. The district attorney of LA, whose name is Gascon, has a policy because apparently the jails are full. Wow, I wonder why. Apparently the jails are full and they have COVID restrictions in the jails, which means they can't put all these people in there. So these people who are literally could have been contemplating mass murder. They really could. I mean, some dude with two magazines loaded with ammunition and a firearm next to him could very well be contemplating mass murder. You don't know. And so this dude gets arrested, and then they have $0 bail. That's their policy. It's called $0 bail in LA.
Right.
Which means that they basically get released because they don't have to pay any bail. So he's back out on the street. So, oh no, they caught me. Well, guess what? You know, maybe he'll go find another. You know, he can go find another gun. You don't even know if he had those guns legitimately. He can get another gun and do the crime that he wanted to do because he's not in jail.
Right.
There were prisoners that were in for crimes that got released. They went home and they murdered their family member or whoever got them in that situation. So basically in California there are people dead. There are people dead because they released people in jail who were not ready to be released back on the streets. And no one's responsible for that. No, who are you gonna sue? You know, reality is you're dead. So I guess who is your family going to sue? You're gone. You know, poof, life's over because of a government decision that indirectly impacted you.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of it, man.
Everlasting.
I'm tired
everlasting
of
cycle.
it. It's yeah, I know. We came from SpongeBob being canceled. It always happens. It's okay. We came from SpongeBob being canceled here, and it's fine because you know what really needs to be quote unquote canceled are these morons that are being put into office that are using their positions for politics. And that's never going to happen.
No, I think there's just like it's because I think there's like a rule. It's like you have to serve there for life or something like that. But yeah, but like it's literally. I think like what I've always wanted is that I've always wanted people that have like genuine like. I think that's the thing. Like you want obviously to have. What I've always wanted is like, especially in politics, is that I wanted like to. I think it's always seen as like a rivalry or like. One side is better than the other, and to me I don't see it like that. I think we're all human beings at the end, and I think that's the tough part is I think that's the kind of the difficult part of our system is that obviously we have a two-party system, but we always forget like, hey, we're both the same human being. We both went through different lives and we all had different ideas, and I think
right, and that's how we were. Political polarization.
We didn't kill each other because
No.
of you were one person or another. You believed in one thing or another.
There was a small period of time. I really do believe it. There was a period of time. It was around after we were born. I would say like kind of the post, kind of end of Bush era. I feel like there was a small period of time where we were kind of a little bit closer as, like, yeah, there were the politicians, they're always squabbling, fine. But, you know, people believed in the 4th of July. People believed in the American flag. People believed in, you know, what we stand for, I guess. And that the flag was a symbol of unity. It you know, people of all backgrounds could look at it and, you know, when you see that flag, you do the Pledge of Allegiance, for example. I remember doing the Pledge of Allegiance in school. I don't know if you do, but I specifically remember. Now they don't do that because one kid in the class, for example, could be like, I think it's dumb. One kid in the class could say something about like, oh, we had it at our school. One person did this. I don't feel like the flag.
Wait, recently or
No,
just now?
it was in our time. I remember this. There was a kid at our school. I don't remember who it was. I remember there was an incident where someone, in high school, when in the flag or not flag assembly, in like the amphitheater, he didn't want to do the pledge, and it's like, you know, your school experience is paid for by the government. You don't. It's not like you're paying for all that. I mean, you know, taxes are fine, but it's free. You don't have to have like, you know, thousands of dollars to go to public school. So really you're there because of the existence of this government. You're here because of the existence of this country. You're free to even do that because of that flag. You know, this pure statement of saying that flag doesn't represent me is ironic because the flag really is representing you for even being allowed to say that about it. Go to China and say that flag doesn't represent me. I'm really curious to see where you'd end up. I probably wouldn't hear from you. That would be kind of sad. I'd be like, man, where did he go? I wonder if the Chinese finally got him. Or go to Turkey and try to talk crap about
an Armenian flag.
Yeah, go to Turkey and wave an Armenian flag. You know what I mean? Like, you can come here and wave almost any flag, not counting the Nazi one, which is, you know, universally accepted. Yeah, the Confederacy flag is interesting to me because I feel like people are using it more and more as just kind of like a middle finger. It's like, you know, most of the people waving that, I don't actually believe in like slavery coming back. I think they just do it because it's like they're trying to send some message, unrelated. But the people burning flags, for example, they're burning the object that lets them do that in the first place. The people, that think the Pledge of Allegiance shouldn't be said because it's racist or whatever. Well, guess what? This country lets you think that. So maybe be careful what you wish for. Be careful what might come of that. Change the government, see what happens. Maybe you'll end up in a situation where you'll hate what comes next even more than what we had. And that point, you might never be seen again, because dictatorships tend to rise when stuff like that happens. Revolution sparks dictatorship. Revolution, once again, may spawn democracy. That's a loop. We're trying not to go into that loop, but my fear is that if there ever is a revolution here...
From our mistakes.
No. I fear that if there's ever a revolution here, you're not going to have something better. You're going to have something worse. And then people will regret that, but God knows how long it would take, to return back to where we were beforehand. That's something I learned from political science, despite all the BS the teacher said. There's kind of a loop, dictatorship spawns democracy. Democracy may spawn dictatorship if it's abused, and that's where it is. So I'm gonna top it off with this, and then I think we're gonna have to call it. I'm gonna form this in my mind before I say it. Dictatorship spawns democracy. Democracy spawns SpongeBob SquarePants episodes being removed for a Panty Raid. SpongeBob episode about a Panty Raid spawns ... I don't know what it'll spawn. I just wanted to tie this back into SpongeBob.
I mean, our democracy is the okay. Let me say it like this. I could say that our democracy is. I mean, it's not the most perfect thing out there.
No.
I think that there is room for improvement, but I think the one thing that people want to always remember is that, hey, at the end of the day, even though you are on two separate sides, you guys are both human beings. You guys both come from that same outcome. Whether you want to, and as far as, and I think there should be more time, if we're tying it back to canceling stuff, I think that there's more time. I think we should spend more time being productive as far as helping this nation become better than from our mistakes from our past, not repeating those same mistakes, and not focus too much on canceling the SpongeBob episode.
Fourth time it's sent. Connection reset. Okay. What was I saying? Yeah, I think this has gone on quite long enough. Amanda Ryan, yeah, that's why they want the guns. We actually just bought another AR-15, just in retaliation to the BS. But on that note, I appreciate everybody for listening in at this late hour. I appreciate you for coming in to talk and giving us your opinions on the matter. Always appreciate that, and you made a lot of very interesting points and brought in a lot of new perspectives, and we're hoping to have you on again. I don't know if you want anyone to know, name or whatever, socials or anything. If you want to remain anonymous, that's fine.
It's whatever.
We'll just refer to you as W.
Yeah, exactly.
Agent W, yeah. So appreciate Agent W for talking to us about all of this stuff. Appreciate chat, and until next time. Oh, and feel free to. I will put the link in the bio. Music is by Schugzy. If you appreciate the jams as much as I do, please check out his channel. I will update the bio with that. On that note, it's been great, and it's all subjective.